19 months, 29,000 miles, and I've still not given this van a proper deep clean. And man, it is showing it. It is absolutely filthy. We really need to just give it a deep clean, wax and polish. And I don't even want to think of what the previous owner did, because it was just used as a builder's wagon, so it was probably never cleaned in its whole time then. So now it's time to sort that. So here's how the van is looking at the moment. And when I say filthy, that's an understatement. The inside's grim, the outside's grim. Admittedly, I've been a bad owner. I have not washed it properly since before I went to Morzine, which was at the end of June. And since then, I've done 4,000 or 5,000 miles driving down to the Alps and back, and then driving all around the UK for a summer of camping. So it really needs it. And this video, it's going to be a little bit different to my usual videos on the fact that I'm currently sat in my living room on the sofa, and that is because I recorded all the video, did all the talking parts, and the sound was rubbish. The wind was just not playing well. It was not playing ball. So I'm going to sit here, talk you through what I did. Hopefully you enjoy it, and we'll throw in B-roll and show you all washing the van now. Enjoy it. So first stage of the washing, we need to get all that loose dirt off the outside. So I'm just going to go around with a jet washing as much of the loose dirt off as I can. This is just so when we do the contact wash, we're not going to be rubbing in loose dirt into the paintwork, causing swirl marks and making it all look a bit rubbish and just like we've not really done it properly and cared for it. I would usually and recommend using like a pre-wash on this, so you just spray it on the panel and jet wash it off, but I didn't have any, so we're just going to go with a jet wash. Once all the jet washing has been done, it is time to get the snow foam on. This is just an added layer of breaking that dirt down, so it'll just get all the loose stuff off before we do the contact wash. And at this point, I'm going to be honest, I think I should have known that the world was against me, as I didn't record doing the snow foam, which is arguably the most satisfying bit of any car wash experience. So you're just gonna have to trust me with that one. I can show you videos of it all sat there with snow foam sitting on it, but I didn't actually record the applying of the snow foam. Once the snow foam was on, I just went round with a little brush and just worked up all the areas just to make it easier to clean. All those hard to reach areas with a wash mitt, if I just work them up with a brush at this moment in time, when I just go over with a wash mitt and jet wash, it'll just clean those parts of the van, which just makes it 10 times easier. After the snow foam's been sat on there for 5 or 10 minutes, I just went over it with a jet wash just to get all the snow foam off, and it was time and ready for the contact wash. So for the contact wash, I'm using the good old 2-bucket method. I don't know if the 2-bucket method's the best way. It's just what I've always done, and I'm going to keep telling myself that, because somewhere in my mind I'm thinking, yeah, this is never going to cause any swirl marks and I'm never going to get any dirt on the paintwork by doing this way. I'm probably wrong, but in my mind that's the case, so it's staying like that. So I'm just going around the van from top to bottom, giving it a wash. I always do top to bottom just because in my mind the bottom part of the van is going to be dirtier than the top of the van, so you work down to the dirty part of the sponge. For the wheels, I'm just using a microfiber cloth, and I'm doing this after I have done all of the van, because I don't want any dirty wheel juice going into my clean bucket. I would normally use a specialist wheel cleaner, but I am not. For number one, I didn't have any and I was too tight to go to shops and buy them, and number two, the van, it's on steel wheels which are really in bad shape, so I don't want to waste money on wheel cleaner when it doesn't need it. As soon as I get new wheels for the van, we'll get wheel cleaner straight away, and I will use wheel cleaner on them. But for the meantime, on these steel wheels, it's pointless because they're in a bad way already. After everything's been cleaned, I gave the van another jet wash just to get rid of all the soap suds and get the paint nice and wet again, because it makes it easier to dry when it's wetter. Sounds backwards, but that is the way. So now it came to drying the van, and I just used a large drying towel. Find these super good, and in theory, the bigger the towel, the quicker it is going to be to dry. That's what I'm telling myself anyway, because cleaning this van takes forever. When I'm drying it, I'm trying to keep the towel as flat as possible. I don't want to scrunch it up, just trying to keep it flat and drag it smoothly along the paintwork without putting any pressure on. This towel, I have to say, is amazing at picking up water. One pass over and the paintwork's dry, so it makes it so easy. So once I've done, I just have a walk around the van, make sure it's all clean and make sure I've not missed any parts. I'm just going to turn the light on because I think it's getting a bit dark in here. 2 seconds. How are we looking? That's better. Right, so in a normal car wash, this would be it. Pack all my stuff up, jobs are good and got a nice clean van, go and get it dirty again. But as I said, this is not a normal car wash. And now it's time to try and sort this paintwork. We need to give it the first stage of a good old decontamination. Before we start with the next bit, I just want to show you how bad the paintwork actually is looking. Because when it was filthy, you couldn't see. And from a distance, the van looks mint. It looks really clean at this point. And it'd be fine in photos, but when it's parked up, you can really tell how dirty it is. If you look down here, you can see we have loads and loads of tar marks all along. And there are a few bits where we have some scuffs and some scratches like this, which stuff like this where it's actually a chip in the paint, I'm not actually going to be able to do anything with, but a few of the scratches like these round here, I'm hoping that I can get quite a bit of them up with polish. Can't see them from a distance, but as soon as you get close, it's all there. Same all along here, so you can see we've got scratch there. That one's quite deep, so that one's going to need proper treating. Another one there, and then we go around onto the back. The back is pretty good. Once again, we've got a bit more of a scratch there and some more stuff there. So let's try and get as much of this off as we can and give it all a good old decontamination, wax and polish. First step is a clay bar. This is just a little bit of clay which you rub on the paintwork, and it just helps pick up some of the dirt and some of the contamination better than you can get off of a sponge. You have to make sure the panel's really lubricated when you're doing this, and you have to keep the clay flat and small and not apply too much pressure, just so you don't scratch the paintwork, as doing this wrong can cause quite a bit of scratching. I've never actually clay barred a car before. I'm sounding like I'm an expert here, but I really am not. All I did was I watched a YouTube video before I did it, and I found it super helpful. So if you're unsure on doing anything, just watch a YouTube video, you'll find it. I'm not going to tell you what to do because I don't want to be responsible for you ruining your paintwork. After I'd done all the clay barring, I just went over with a clean, damp microfiber cloth just to wipe up all the clay bar residue and just give the paint a last little wipe clean. And then I went over with a drying towel as well to make sure all the paintwork was dry before the next stage. So, we've got all the gunk and stuff off the panels and it's looking better already, but now it's time to go in with a polish. So the polish is there to try and remove some of the small scratches and swirl marks. And to do this, I'm just applying a little bit of polish to a microfiber pad applicator. So you can use a microfiber cloth, but I find these easier to work with the polish. And I do wish I had a machine polish. I've never thought they're worth it. I've always thought, do you actually need one? But after today, yes, you need one, definitely. Especially in a van this size. And the finish which it gives you compared to by hand is so much better. But for the meantime, this will do. So I'm just going around applying a bit of polish with the microfiber pad and then buffing it with the microfiber cloth after. So I make it so the paint looks cloudy and then I buff it so it's shiny again. The one downside is, which I found, as having never had a white car before, it makes it harder to see the polish with a white car. I never expected that. I thought a white car would be the easiest thing to clean ever because all the dirt shows up instantly. But white polish on a white car, you have to really get the light right and get a torch out just to see when the paint goes cloudy, so you know when you can buff it, and then you have to do the same again to make sure it's all shiny again. But apart from that, it was a super easy job, just very long and tiring. So polish all done and I can see my own reflection in it, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But now it's time to get the wax on. So this wax is just there as a bit of an added protection, and it should hopefully keep the paint cleaner because it will repel dirt and water better. So I'm just using a spray wax. I'm spraying it onto the panel and then rubbing it in with a microfiber cloth. I'm doing this all over the van on all panels just to get a nice good even coating everywhere. I also went around all the bumpers, so front and rear bumpers, and then any other bits of plastic trim like the door handles and the little transporter logos on the side, and I applied bumper treatment gel to all of those just to make it nice and dark, just so it doesn't look faded and it makes the van look so much newer. And that is it. That is the outside of the van done. Nice and simple and easy. It took about 6 hours, but it is so worth the time and effort. And I have to say, the outside of the van was looking pretty mint. I'll show you some B-roll clips of it now, but I am super happy with how it's came out. Quite a lot of the tar marks and the small scratches have been brought up. You've still got the bigger scratches there, which I say we're going to have to get sorted from repainting, but for the meantime, this looks so much better, and I'm so happy with how it's turned out. The van does look like it's actually cared for now, which is good because I do care for it. I know you might not believe it with how it was looking before, but I do. So I'm happy that it is now showing how good the van can actually look. We are not done at the outside, as you saw at the start, and I'll show you again now. The interior also needs a lot of work. It is filthy, man. I don't know how it gets like this. I really don't. I think the downside of using it as a mountain bike camper means that I'm jumping in muddy clothes, muddy shoes, and especially when me and my fiance go out on hikes, we're getting in with muddy boots on, we're just getting in and going. So we're just filling the van with mud. And I think because it's a rubber floor, it just seems to hold all the mud and get stained really easy. Unlike carpet, when you hoover it up, it just doesn't pick up the mud, it's ingrained into the rubber. So we need to give it a proper clean. I have attempted to properly scrub the floor before. I did it when I took the flooring up, when I sound deadened and insulated under the floor and ran the cables from the battery to the leisure battery. I gave all the floor a proper deep clean and scrub with my hand, and yeah, it just wasn't coming up. It made it look a lot better, but that was a year ago now, so it looks rubbish again. So it's time to go to the next level. I have bought a cleaning brush which attaches to my drill, and I'm going to apply a bit of shampoo and a bit of water to all the floor and then just go around and use the drill to try and bring up as much dirt as possible. And this worked so much better than I expected. The floor looks so much better. I mean, it's still not perfect because I think there's bits of staining in there, but overall it looks so good. The main bit of dirt which was ingrained in has all been brought up, and I'm very happy about that. So now the floor's done, we can move on to the rest of the interior. And the floor was the only bad bit of the interior really. The rest of it's quite clean. I went around all the dashboard and used just an interior shampoo, just wiped it all clean, especially on the steering wheel, got rid of all the dust on the dashboard and that sort of stuff. All the door pockets and cubby holes I've cleared out, and then I hoovered out and cleaned all the inside of those. And that was about it for the interior. The rest of it was quite quick to be done. I have seat covers on the seat, so they never really get dirty because these seat covers are excellent. You can just brush them off, so don't need to worry about that. And the rest of the van, the rest of the interior of the van was all pretty clean. I've got quite a few plans for the interior coming up, so you need to make sure to stay tuned to watch all of that. And that is the van all cleaned and done, and I'm buzzing with how it looks now. Feels nice. It was getting to the point where I was just a bit like, oh, I can't bother to do it because it'd gone past the point of no return almost, or it felt like that because the van was filthy, the inside was filthy. I'm like, I'm just going to keep getting it dirty, so I may as well just leave it. But I'm so happy that it's all done now, and it looks so much better. So we can move on now to getting this interior sorted. And in the next few videos, you're going to see what I've got planned because it is very exciting. So please drop a like and subscribe to stay tuned with this van build because it's been good so far, but it's only going to get better. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment down on what you think. Let me know how you think the van's looking and anything you want to see me do to the van. I'll catch you in the next video.